let's talk a little bit about what we've just seen in these pre-seasons. There's a few things to pick out from there.
I'm glad our crack security team is really taking care of the boys over there in London.
Ali, let me talk to you about Gyökeres. Obviously, Gyökeres getting his first goal for Arsenal, great sign.
Yeah, we spoke about it yesterday, the importance of new players or incoming players having an impact early on and giving signs and showing signs of what they can bring to the new team. In this case, what is the expectation of Viktor Gyökeres coming into Arsenal? To score goals. And I think what's more encouraging than anything else is not only the header, which by itself was a very good finish, but it's the movement to get ahead of the defender to then find the header. And then beyond that, the goal by Bukayo Saka comes from the hold-up play initially of Viktor Gyökeres. So it's positive signs for Gyökeres in what was, I thought, a very encouraging performance from him, and one that if you're an Arsenal fan and you want to get carried on with, I would suppose, an initial performance, and you want to get crazy about something, it was really good from Gyökeres, really good.
The strange thing about the goal is that they've got a centre forward, a goal scoring centre forward in the side, but they've actually supplied them with a cross. You know, Arsenal of last year wouldn't have crossed that ball. Zubimendi, obviously he wasn't there last year. That wouldn't have been crossed last year. It would have been held up, knock it back wide again, get it back to the halfway line, let's start again. I mean, that's what we would have seen from Arsenal last year. They wouldn't have scored a goal like that last year. So again, that's a positive. Maybe it's another way that they're going to try and get the ball into the box early for Gyökeres.
Yeah, let's go see how our security team is doing outside Wembley there with Craig and Frank. Frank, we were just saying, we hope that you know your teammate's name today, Craig Burley. And are you guys safe? Are you okay? Who are these people around you?
Oh my God!
Have I missed something here?
Yes, because I forgot. Because I remember that Mario Melchior scored the goal, but I didn't remember his first name. And of course, now
his last name either.
Like Mario, and blah blah blah, and that's all come from that horrible Dan Thomas, but whatever, you know. And I love Mario. As well, and I know I was saying that because I know, you know, through the megahertz, you know, I thought Mario could hear us, and that's why I say Mario.
Yeah, and I'm sorry about that, guys. You know, we're doing this live TV, and there's a lot of passion around here, but unfortunately, we actually got a very rude and threatening individual who we couldn't get rid of. So that's just what. Luckily, he wasn't threatening me, but he was threatening to knock Frank's head off at one point.
Yeah, but I wish he did, you know? It would have been very funny after.
Well,
Talking about security, where is your security?
Yes, exactly. That's what we're worried about. That's what we're worried about, Craig. But I'll tell you what Arsenal are not worried about. Viktor Gyökeres getting his first goal today.
Yeah, well, he's paid to do that. So I would like to think, you know, and it's a friendly, and, you know, they're expecting a lot of him. They've signed well. We're obviously here to do the Community Shield. We're going to talk about it. Liverpool have signed well, really well. So have Arsenal. So lots to look forward to. If you're City, Chelsea and the others looking at these two teams in particular, you're thinking, my God, I'm going to have a great season if I'm City and Chelsea. And we've talked a lot about Chelsea, obviously, from the Club World Cup. And can they bring that consistency? Can that bring that quality that we saw in the PSG game? And Man City, we're not quite sure what Guardiola's side is going to turn up. But I think we're pretty clear, 99% clear, what we're going to get from Arsenal and Liverpool, because they're not going to go away. They're two sides that have been built over a number of years, and they have signed brilliantly in the summer. And of course, as you mentioned, Gyökeres, he scored goals in England at Coventry in the Championship. He scored lots of goals in Portugal at Sporting. And Arsenal have paid big money because they want somebody to put the ball in the back of the net. So, yeah, a confident start, but it's all about doing it in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. But we will still ask you about another friendly where we got to see another new signing in Tijani Reinders scoring for Manchester City as well. Like, obviously, as we're saying, Craig, always great to see these new players bedding in and getting a few goals under their belts.
Well, it is, but I mean, I haven't seen any because the hotel I'm in, I'm lucky to get a TV. So, and I think I haven't even switched it on yet.
No TV.
And I think it's probably only got about. Frank's got a very
I have two TVs.
Frank's got a 90-inch plasma TV, and I've got one that I reckon's got about 4 channels. But yeah, and I mean, again, he's another quality player. City for me, you know, particularly with Rodri, you know, and again, should we discuss the Club World Cup? I don't think we should because we're over that. But he picked up another injury, so he's out to, they're saying September sometime, after missing the bulk of last year. Goes without saying, he's a huge player for them, because they haven't really addressed the defensive issues. You know, they've signed Nuri at left back, but they haven't really addressed, Frank, the defensive issues that really knocked them off a cliff last year when they lost, I think it was 8 straight games.
I totally agree with you, and I said that 2 days ago in the show where you asked me my predictions, and I said, you know, that I'm going to put Manchester City fourth in a prediction, and Chelsea finishing before them, because I saw improvement everywhere at Chelsea, where in Manchester City, yes, offensively you can see, and names are coming, and good players are coming, but in the middle of the park and at the back is still the same. So I don't see any improvements, and I'm very worried about their season, because that was the main problem that they had and the main concern that Pep Guardiola had. So with Rodri getting injured again, that's going to be a problem, and how he's going to resolve that as quick as possible, we're going to see that.
I don't know if he's going to do it. Guys, you guys might know better than me, because you've seen probably the friendlies. I've not seen these friendlies today. But is he still got? I mean, Nuri at left back, good footballer, not a great defender. If you've watched him at Wolves, he wanders around all over the place at times, and that leaves big spaces. And that's one of the things that was killing City last year. But does Pep Guardiola think that he can go a season with Matheus Nunes again at right back? Because he had the evidence from last year that didn't work. So your centre halves can be as strong as they want. You could be as strong as you want in front of the back four. But if your full-back positions are weak, and that's one of the positions that when he first came in that he addressed. He went out and he got Kyle Walker. He went out and bought a left-back. I think it was Mendy at the time. So he addressed those positions. Those positions at the moment, for me, are very, very weak. And I just don't see a full season for City being successful with Matheus Nunes again playing at right-back.
Worried about that for City on their
100%.
concerns?
Yeah, that is the biggest problem that they have and are going to have when the season kicks off again. Exactly where the problem was before the end of last year. And it doesn't look like there's... You know, he plays the likes of Nunes at right back because he wants that extra man in midfield. He wants a ball-playing footballer in the middle of the park, which is great when you've got the ball. Unfortunately, when you don't have the ball, then you absolutely are gambling, because you're playing a guy in a defensive position who really doesn't understand what he's doing. And so when you start losing goals consistently and you keep doing the same thing, then guess what? The outcome is going to be the same. And so that's why I don't see any change when the Premier League starts again next week.
We're talking about last season and last Premier League season and how disappointing that was for Manchester City. Well, they had some time ahead of the Club World Cup to sort of generate some momentum going into this season. And then they get eliminated by Al Hilal by the very same issues that they faced all of last season. Exposed and counter-attack opportunities, losing the ball in bad areas, no speed in transition defensively, making mistakes defensively, completely stretched and open to counter-attacks. And that hasn't been addressed. It hasn't been addressed by the signings of the players that have come into Manchester City, and apparently hasn't been addressed by Pep Guardiola in the manner in which he approaches the game. And so it's hard to make an argument for Manchester City defensively. The only way that they're able to compete with who we think are the favorites, Liverpool and Arsenal, is by them being exponentially better with the ball than what they were last year. Too many turnovers, too many unnecessary turnovers. If they improve dramatically in their quality of their possession and what they do with that possession, they have a chance. Otherwise, too many turnovers, counterattacks going the other way, too many goals given up.
Yeah, meanwhile, Craig, as for Newcastle, the pre-season is definitely not going their way. They've got no wins in their last 6, and then we have still that situation with Alexander Isak. This is looking to be a bit problematic for them now.
Yeah, it's a manager's worst nightmare, isn't it? You know, you've got a pretty good season last year. You're back in the Champions League. You've built a pretty decent squad of players. But you have this superstar that has been, you know, vaunted by Liverpool and probably one or two others, and he has made it clear he wants to go. And, you know, Eddie Howe could be going into the season. Well, he's probably going to be going into the season now without Isak, whether he's still at Newcastle or not. He's not been training with the team. And it is a very, very tough scenario, that one that that everybody will tell you that most managers want all this done and dusted, good or bad. Good or bad, whether it was Liverpool or stays. I just want it sorted, by June, July, so that we can prepare everything, so we've got time for our recruitment department to go out and look at players and try and buy players. We know what our budget is. And this, Frank, for Newcastle, and for Eddie Howe, because it looks like it's a situation that's not going to be able to resolve itself in a very good way, even if he stays, because it seems there's going to be some animosity between dressing room, manager, and certainly the player has made it clear that he doesn't want to stay. I mean, could you see a scenario where if the Liverpool move doesn't come off, that he just picks it up and goes again like he was last year?
We cannot blame the board, the PIF, because they've been cleared all the way along to the discussion where they always say that he's not for sale and we want to keep him. But there is one truth: you cannot keep a player who doesn't want to stay, and therefore they should have asked him before: do you want to stay or do you want to leave? You want to leave? Okay, well, you're gonna leave, but please, you have to understand that we have to get the money that we want. But the discussion couldn't have been, you are going to stay, how we can do it for you to stay. It's impossible to resolve that problem.